Before we get into this, I just want to say one thing. If you are a practitioner of edged weapons combatives, you need to look into the Medusa edged weapon system, because that is one of the best systems to explain a violent knife assault and systemize it into a very easy and bare bones system to be able to use a knife effectively. It is also an excellent system for understanding how a knife might be used against you if you have to face the blade. Even though I am more focused on my own edged weapons journey these days, I have to say that what Mike and Seth Raymond have developed is something that anyone who practices the blade should understand. Also, if you understand the formula of the Medusa edged weapon system, it is adaptable to any force multiplier you might carry or improvise to protect yourself with. However, what we're talking about today is very knife specific, and this is tactics and training that I use when I'm developing skill with a cutting and stabbing implement, because in my opinion, the use of the knife in combat relies on both the cut and the thrust. And the larger your knife, the more important and the more effective the cut is. I train a lot of thrust-centric knife systems. However, let's not forget that the slash is very important. There's a reason why the rapier was a civilian dueling weapon rather than a battlefield military sword. And that is that slashing doesn't make your weapon stick. One of the main reasons, right? So if I'm using a sword in a melee against multiple opponents, if I thrust, there's a good chance that my sword will get stuck in that person and be torn from my grip. So military swords in the Renaissance tended to be things like sabers. And there's a lot of other reasons. A lot of this swinging is more instinctive. The reason I really think that slashing and cutting is important, especially if you carry a large folder or a large knife as your daily carry tool, is that it's easy to snipe and hit something like the fingers. It's easy to, sit back and snap cut, right? Easy, right? It doesn't take much training. Snap to the eyes, right? And these slashes can have an effect. I know we hear that thrusts are the way to go, and for good reason. If I pull out something like this, this impact weapon, I better be thrusting with it, like hammer fisting with it. Or if I have a screwdriver, I'm gonna be forced to thrust. If you're training for improvised weapons, there's a good chance that whatever you pick up won't have an edge. So all of these slashes are useless in that context. If you carry a cutting tool that you may want to improvise as a force multiplier, then you should know how to slash and cut effectively, because that way it's less likely that your weapon gets stuck in someone and pulled from your grip. And that is something that can really happen. And if you've ever felt someone just snatch something out of your hand when you weren't expecting it, that's what can happen, right? You stick somebody here and all of a sudden your weapon is gone, right? And if I have to deal, maybe I've stopped this guy even, but there might be other attackers. I mean, if I pull an edged weapon, there must be a real serious threat to my life or severe bodily harm like multiple opponents. So if I stick someone and then my weapon gets torn from my grip, I could lose that advantage that my weapon may have given me. So I do believe you need to be very thrust focused in your training, but also the slash has its place. You should include in your training things that will help you break the suction of the wound, right? So gear shifting and throttling from the Medusa system, the C cut from Filipino martial arts, and all these things that people have done to break the suction of a wound when they thrust. The Raymonds, who created the Medusa system, have an absolutely ingenious way of training this aspect of knife fighting. They stab blocks of clay. I think that's absolutely brilliant, and I would encourage other people to do that kind of training. There are several sources that have said things similar to this. The art of the sword is based on both cut and thrust, and this is true of the art of the knife. But because you may be using a screwdriver, you may be using a stick you picked up off the ground, please put a lot of your training into systems like Medusa, like Western Piper, and add a lot of thrusting to your knife training. So if you look at most knife combatives, they do both. Many of them do both. For instance, the Libra system does a lot of thrusting and slashing. Then there's the Martial Bladecraft, which is based on a lot of limb cutting and disabling through slashing. So it really depends on what you want to do, but please don't disregard the slash and the cut as an important aspect of knife combatives. One thing you will notice is that when I am working on my bob, a lot of my cutting is done to the face. That is because the face will never have any kind of covering on it. However, when I'm working with a partner, I cut the limbs a lot. And the effectiveness of the limb cut is questionable, but if you manage to cut through the tendons controlling the grip, you will effectively take away that weapon they have in their hand, whether it's a knife, a hammer, a club, whatever it is. However, I have done many test cuts against heavy clothing, such as leather jackets, and even dried up old buffalo hide was no match to a very sharp knife when we did some tests on an old heavy bag we were replacing. If you have the right knife and keep it sharp, clothing is not as much of a barrier as people make it out to be. The one thing that I would say is, if you can, find a knife with a recurve. The recurve really makes cutting more effective. And remember, there are some blades, cleaver type knives, that if you carry that, they are very ineffective for thrusting. So keep in mind that the nature of the tool you carry will dictate the tactics that you use. Also, it is not just the knife, it is how you cut. Compression is important in your cut. If you just slash across a target without pressing into the target, you will cut less effectively. You need to compress the tissue. This is something that must be trained to be able to do. You have to train all the aspects of knife combatives, and you have to train against a resisting opponent. You should also train to be able to counter knives empty-handed, because even if you have a knife, there is no guarantee that you will be able to access it under pressure. Now, this graphically shows what a slash can do through multiple layers of leather, tape, and cellophane. Using an edged weapon to counter violence is a worst case scenario. It doesn't give you advantages of range, and it does not instantly stop someone. It is something that no sane person would ever want to do, and you will likely face legal consequences. If you have the right mindset and emotional maturity, I encourage you to look into things like this, especially if you live in a place where a firearm is not an option. You are and always will be your own first responder, and it is your responsibility to find ways to protect yourself that fit your morality. This is one of the ways that I train. It is not for everyone, and if you're going to step into this kind of training, please understand the use of force laws in your country and community. You are and always will be responsible for your actions. This, as I said, requires a high level of maturity, a high level of emotional control. If you are a hothead, edged weapons, combatives, and martial arts are not for you. You should leave them for other people. I say this all the time when I do anything showing edged weapons, and I will repeat this over and over again because it must be understood. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you choose to develop these skills, I hope you never have to use them. Thank you. Have a great day.